Okay, so welcome back. Now we're going to look at the second part of this important presentation and strategic direction forward. And this is to discuss where we're going to focus our activity on as we build concretely to establish our new vision. Now, there has been significant research done by experts that have been able to publish their findings and identify some critical things that have helped us to establish our priorities. Now, there is a book that many of you may be well familiar with called Good to Great by Jim Collins. I highly recommend it. Within that book, it explains categorically that in order to get from good to great, there are some critical things that great businesses have in common. They invested in 20 full-time researchers that spent more than 15,000 hours of research identifying what made great companies great. They defined great as being a business that performed at least 3 times higher than the average of their industry and sustained that for at least 15 years. What that meant was it wasn't a fad, it wasn't something they got lucky on, it wasn't just a freak of nature, it wasn't just good timing, or it wasn't the economy. This was something that they learned, understood, grasped, controlled, and managed all the way through to make sure that they were consistently great. What they found was something really interesting. They identified this and called it the hedgehog principle. So for context, there is an old fable about a hedgehog that is anxious to go about and trap this fox. Sorry, I got that back to front. About an old fox that is anxious to go around and trap the hedgehog. Now, in this little forest, this hedgehog, he's a dowdy looking creature, doesn't look too flash or fancy, and he goes about his daily things, burrowing around in the dirt looking for his food, and every day this cunning, clever fox tries to catch him. But of course, the hedgehog does what hedgehogs do. Every time the fox pounces, he curls up into a ball, his spikes prickle up, and the fox has to jump back. He can't get him. So every day the fox tries to be more clever, more cunning, faster, slicker, trickier to catch this hedgehog. But regardless of his cleverness, regardless of his plans, regardless of how sleek he looks, he never wins. The hedgehog always wins. And this was the point that these researchers identified, that these great businesses weren't focused on trying to be the slickest, the smartest, the sexiest, the cleverest. They were focused on doing the one thing that they could be best in the world at. They identified 3 circles, and they said where these 3 circles interject, where you've got that central point, that's your hedgehog principle. The 3 circles were, what can we be best in the world at? What are we deeply passionate about? And what drives our economic engine? When you get the central point right there, that is where you find your hedgehog principle. And if we can place our focus on that, there we will find, as we drill in and put all of our resource and effort and energy into supporting that one critical thing that we can be best in the world at, be deeply passionate about, and that drives our economic engine, then you'll find we start to get true success. So, what do you think could be Niken's hedgehog principle? For a long time, I believed that it was creating a silver factory, creating month after month after month, being able to have that duplicable activity of creating new silvers. However, as we look at the performance of the past, what we see is that is not the answer. We need to simplify it down even further. I remember the first lesson I was given in marketing when I was a marketing manager many years ago, and my boss said to me, Ben, he says, always communicate to the lowest common denominator. Then he paused and he said, and never underestimate the lowest common denominator. So, at first I thought the lowest common denominator would be focusing on silver. That's the first rank of leadership. That first point where duplication is really starting to happen. But what we really see is that is not where it is at. We need to drill down even further. Our hedgehog principle, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that drives our economic engine, the thing that we can be the best in the world at, and the thing that we can be deeply passionate about is one simple thing: quality enrollments. Now, what is a quality enrollment? Because this is a new definition that we are using here. This is some new language that we're introducing. A quality enrollment is someone that joins the business, signs up to autoship in their first month, and does a minimum of 500 points. Now, of course, if you're in Europe, you can't sign up to autoship after the 25th of the month. So if you join on the 27th and you join up to autoship on the 1st of the following month or the 2nd, that's absolutely fine. We're not going to be pedantic. What we want to do is create a clear focus on what that critical activity is. What is a strong start? A strong start is a clear focus on autoship, signing up to autoship straight away, and doing a minimum of 500 points. Ideally, that should be 100 points from myself and 400 points from some customers and getting some customer volume. What we want people to do is 500 points every single month. Now, if you wish to join with a pack and you sign up with a vital pack in your first month, well, that's fine. We're not going to penalize that, and we're not going to say vital packs are out the window. But what we do need to emphasize is people need to have 500 points of consistent repeat volume starting from their first month. And autoship plays an important part of that. And we need to remember the average behavior of consumers, not just in Nikken, but in everywhere in our industry, is about 100 points. So if we want to have consistent repeat business, we need to recognize that we've got to have a balance of personal use and autoship and of customer activity. So ideally, it would be great to lead forwards with the repeat consumables, and as they get a bit of experience and a bit of success, those vital packs or those bigger, higher ticket items that we've got in our portfolio can become an additional benefit that will be an enhancement both to their business and to your income opportunity as they go on. You can choose to do that the other way around and start with that if you wish, it's your choice. But a quality enrollment, let me repeat, a quality enrollment is joining with autoship and doing a minimum of 500 points in their month of enrollment. That's going to be our area of emphasis. That's going to be our focal point.
I'm Dennis Williams, and Ruth and I are Royal Ambassadors with Nikken. It's been our full-time career for almost 23 years now. And we're down here at the Team Kaizen event, and it is an exciting thing that we're hearing about. Nikken is a whole new Nikken coming up, and it's going to be better for everybody. Everything's going to be simpler and more dynamic, and give everybody an opportunity to really excel, and it's just going to be awesome.